Okay, let's dive right in. When I say the word Turkey, what is the absolute first image that pops into your head?
I mean, if you're like most people, you're probably picturing sprawling beaches, crowded bazaars, and maybe, a really good kebab. But today, we are wiping that mental slate completely clean. Because we're not talking about your typical summer vacation today. We're talking about the birthplace of things the entire world just takes for granted.
Exactly. We are looking far past the standard tourist brochures as we get into part one, Beyond Beaches and Kebabs. It's a pretty wild contrast, right? On one side, we have the assumption, a great spot for street food and a tan. But the reality? This country is literally the starting point for so many fundamental aspects of our modern lives. We're talking about the birthplace of everything from massive global icons to, well, human civilization itself. Which brings us to part two, Origins of Global Icons. All right, let's hit our first rapid reveal. Where was Santa born? And no, before you say it, the North Pole totally doesn't count. That entire snowy, elf-filled workshop myth came way, way later. The answer is actually Patara, Turkey. Seriously. The real Saint Nicholas, the Greek bishop whose actual life inspired the entire worldwide legend of Santa Claus, was born right there. And he served as a beloved bishop in nearby Myra. Both of those spots are sitting right there on the sunny Mediterranean coast of modern-day southern Turkey. Okay, how about this one? When you think of the Netherlands, the ultimate global symbol is the tulip, right? But the reality is that the tulip actually originated in Ottoman culture, right, in Turkey. Yeah, these flowers were an absolute staple in Turkish gardens centuries before Europe even knew they existed. Dutch traders actually imported them from Turkey, brought them back to Europe, and that is what triggered that massive historical financial bubble known as tulip mania. So before the tulip was famously Dutch, it was deeply Ottoman. Let's keep these rapid-fire facts rolling. Where do cherries come from? Most people wouldn't guess this one either. They come from Giresun, Turkey. The cherry tree was first brought over to Europe from this exact city on the Turkish Black Sea coast. In fact, the English word cherry literally derives directly from Giresun's ancient Greek name, Kerissos. Mind-blowing, right? It is just wild how much of our daily lives traces back to this one specific region. Let's plunge even deeper with part three, Rewriting Ancient Human History. This timeline perfectly captures the sheer scale we were talking about here. Göbekli Tepe, which is a massive stone temple complex in southern Turkey, was built 12,000 years ago. Just let that sink in for a second. That predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years, and it predates the Egyptian pyramids by 7,000 years. This single discovery completely upended everything we thought we knew about when human civilization actually began, because it means complex religion and social organization existed long before we even invented agriculture. Add to that, Turkey wasn't just home to one, but two of the original seven wonders of the ancient world, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus and the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus. Sure, they're ruins now, but they remain incredibly active, vital archaeological sites today where researchers are literally still uncovering the past. Plus, the history here isn't just about stones and monuments. It's the very bedrock of major world religions. According to historical and Christian tradition, St. John brought the Virgin Mary to spend her final years near Ephesus, right in western Turkey, seeking a safe haven. And this isn't just some forgotten piece of historical trivia. That small stone house, believed to be her final home, is a major, highly active Catholic pilgrimage destination today. It's even been visited by multiple popes. Ancient history is still actively lived and breathed here every single day. Oh, and speaking of living history, you know the phrase Veni Vidi Vici, right? I came, I saw, I conquered. Arguably the most famous Latin phrase ever spoken. Well, Julius Caesar actually wrote this exact message to the Roman Senate in 47 BC, right after defeating a local king in an incredibly swift, decisive battle in northern Turkey. The layers of history are honestly staggering. Let's shift gears to our final theme, Section 4. A true cultural crossroads. Just think about Turkey's actual physical territory for a second. 97% of the country is situated in Asia. Just 3% is in Europe. And sitting right in the middle of that physical divide is Istanbul, split right down the middle by the Bosporus Strait. It is the only major city in the entire world that spans two separate continents. You can literally take a short ferry ride from Europe to Asia on your lunch break. And that crazy mix of cultures and continents leads to some beautifully unusual things. Take tavuk gosu, for example. It is a creamy, sweet milk pudding dessert made with finely shredded chicken breast. I am not kidding you. This sweet treat dates all the way back to the Ottoman palace kitchens, and it's still hugely popular in cafes today. It's surprisingly delicious, but completely unique. And the customs are just as fascinating as the cuisine. Have you heard of baby salting? It's this old custom involving lightly rubbing salt across a newborn baby's body shortly after birth. In some rural areas today, they still deeply believe this protects children from illness and strengthens their resistance to harm throughout their entire lives. It's these ultra-specific cultural moments sitting directly on top of thousands of years of world-changing history that make this place so incredible. Let's pull all of this together in Part 5, The Big Picture. So, Turkey really isn't just a place on a map. It truly is where East literally meets West, and where ancient history meets modern life seamlessly. Most importantly, it is where the assumed global origins of so many things you probably swore belonged to Europe or the North Pole, actually began. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought for this explainer. If our core assumptions about Santa Claus, tulips, cherries, and the very dawn of human civilization itself were completely wrong, what else do we have backwards? Because ultimately, Turkey is the crossroads where East meets West, and where history was written long before anywhere else. Thanks for joining us, and hey, keep questioning what you think you know.